Member for Tigania West, and I hope you have not spoken.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to also add my voice to this motion on the constitutional amendment to bring in the CDF and other funds into the Constitution. Honorable Speaker, I thank God for this opportunity to have to discuss this issue. And I also thank the two Honorable Members, Gishimo and Honorable Mule, who seized the moment to basically bring this motion up so that we may be able to discuss it and propose things that probably we believe are important to put in this Constitution. Honorable Speaker, it is important for the government to go the fund way, because going the fund way enables us to do development in a better and more organized manner. And therefore, I support the idea of having CDF, of a national government constitutes this development fund, the national government affirmative action fund, the Senate oversight fund, and the empowerment fund, I mean the economic stimulus and empowerment fund enshrined in the Constitution. Honorable Speaker, as I speak now, we have issues in many counties in this country. Some may not have come out as strongly and as violently as the major issues have been. Honorable Speaker, I feel that this motion is lacking in one dimension. All the members who are elected by the people deserve to go back to the people and report to them on development. There is no development that can be carried out without the participation of the members, and therefore it becomes a development that is owned fully by the people. I would like to propose that this constitutional amendment is further amended to include the World Fund. World Fund is one of the funds that is contentious in many wards today, because there is no clear description of the money that goes to the ward, to the constituents, I mean to the counties, on what basically goes to the ward. It is not in the law, it is not in the Constitution, it is therefore illegal even to discuss the World Fund. And therefore I believe this motion could be amended to include the World Fund as well. I know this particular motion will also have to go to Senate. Senate have got their issues, even if we are including the Senate Oversight Fund. Senators have got an issue with the wards in their constituencies, and they basically support the MCAs in the oversight. It would also be good for us to declare a certain proportion of the money that goes to the counties as World Fund, purposely aimed at supporting development in specific wards. Honorable Speaker, guided funds are important in the sense that they also do development better. Looking at all these funds, they target specific areas. The scope is not in limit. We have various fronts that we need to do development in. There is water supply, there is security as enshrined in the as captured in CDF. There is also the issue of medical care. There are very many other issues that need to be looked into and therefore supported specifically. And therefore these funds are not in vain. And I believe if we integrate the World Fund as well, it would basically come in to support some of the specific areas like CDF is so guided. Honorable Speaker, to be closely, it is important that once this is done, and I believe members will support this in large numbers, we would like it to be immediately followed by a guiding legislation and regulations so that it is as precisely guided as the CDF. We would like funds guided, and therefore these guidelines be exposed or be discussed by the people so that people know how much money should be going to what kind of activity on development endeavor. CDF is very specifically guided, and people know that 5% of CDF has got to go to bursaries. They know that about 6% goes to managing the office. They know about 6% again goes to the emergencies. And while at emergencies, Honorable Speaker, I want to point out one thing. CDF enables us to respond in real time when there is an emergency because the money is already there. If there was an emergency, like for instance, the roof of a building, of a classroom block has been blown off by the roof, I mean by wind. And then we have to go to the national government to look for money. The bureaucracies involved and the rigidities that we have, structural and otherwise, would not enable such an action to be taken as fast as it probably and deserving. Therefore, the response to emergencies is in real time, and those guidelines are very, very important. We therefore would like to emphasize that these funds even though integrated in the constitution, must be as precisely defined in terms of the functions they are going to undertake and in terms of the areas of focus in view of the development endeavors they are going to target. Honourable Speaker, it is important to note that we need to modernize our backgrounds. We need to modernize our areas in terms of development. Development is not just about bringing in new things. CDF has the flexibility to modernize schools, and this has helped us have better and new schools in most of the areas. It has helped us finish up schools that were left unfinished. It has helped us bring down the structures that are dangerous to the pupils and students, and therefore it is a very good fund. And I believe if it is integrated in the Constitution, as much as the other funds are also integrated in the Constitution, it would help us to even be better, focused and be sure that we are going to do the right thing when the time comes. Honourable Speaker, it is important for us to clear out the matters on CDF and NG-CDF at this point in time. NG-CDF is as per the 2015 legislation and the follow-up regulations of 2016. The CDF was 2013 legislation. What has gone to court, and I would like the Kenyans to know this because they're asking a lot of questions, what went to court is CDF 2013. The members of parliament, and even with a lot of consultations in view of public participation, and already realized there were problems in CDF, and therefore they went back to the house, this particular house, came up with a law that is called National Government Constituencies Development Fund, and this fund has clearly and precisely described what needs to be done. So it is no longer ambiguous. There are no areas that are unclear. There is nothing that is not transparent in CDF, and therefore the court issue does not necessarily focus on NG-CDF. It does talk about CDF, which this House had already done away with. Honourable Speaker, it is important for us to look at how do these funds target development and clear out struggles. The public participation initiated before investment is very key. People themselves come and say, this is what we would like to be done in our area. So during the planning session, although you could have a forward plan, which is in long-term or medium-term plan, you could always interpret this plan in terms of the people's specific needs. And once you give them to their needs, you supply them to their needs, the fund is precisely used, and it is much more appreciated than any money or any development that befalls our people without having been pre-announced. Honourable Speaker, CDF and many other funds that we are discussing today give people hope and more hope. I'm talking about more hope because today, what the greatest questions that we are answering as members of parliament is when shall we have the bursary? Because people have gone through a period of drought, there has been a lot of famine across the country, there is no money to take children to school, some of them are already doing their exams this year, and therefore they are asking, when shall we have the bursary? The bursary supports more than 70% of the children that go to school and supports them significantly. So very well tailored and very well targeted, this money can help a great deal. Therefore, putting it in the Constitution removes any form of doubt, guards this money against any form of intrusion, and helps us to plan far into the future. And we appreciate the fact that CDF is also focusing on the numbers, because when we were campaigning last time, we were talking about 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote. So CDF should also focus on 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote, in the sense that what has already been instituted and what we saw at the beginning of this session of Parliament is that CDF will target the number of wands that we have. That if you have 5 wands, you get a little bit more than anybody who has 4, and any person who has got 6 wands will get more money. That means we are prorating development, we are trying to increase equity. So these funds, when they come in, there is need for us to also incorporate equity, in the sense that whatever it is that is being done should target the people, because it is our people that we develop. It is not the area, it's not the expansiveness of an area, it is not anything else but the people. So, Honourable Speaker, I am happy that this has come in time, and I pray that members of this House will support this particular motion, and we shall amend the Constitution to integrate these funds as much as we are also going to include the World Fund. Honourable Speaker, I support.
Member for Jomvu constituency.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.